China's top companies lost about $3 trillion compared with their peak value this year. That's about 1.5 times the size of Apple and far exceeds most countries' GDP. Beijing's tightened control is making these companies' market value fall. These enterprises include consumer businesses, pharmaceuticals, and internet-related businesses. Among them, video sharing app Kuaishou suffered a decline of over 80%. A rice wine company that held first place in China's domestic share market suffered a price drop of over 40% this year. And China's leading pharmaceutical company lost half of its market value in this wave of control. And the list goes on. The CCP's most recent blow is for the education and training industry. Stock prices for these entities outside the Chinese market immediately plunged. Analysts say that's because investors sense further danger to these companies from the CCP's political suppression. China's clampdown on tech companies continues. Beijing passed one of the world's strictest data control laws on Friday. But one expert says it's not to protect users. NTD's Evelyn Lee has more.
China just passed a sweeping privacy law that some say is one of the strictest in the world. It reportedly closely resembles the EU's data protection law. It requires permission from users in order to handle their data or provide it to others, among other things. But Arthur Herman, senior fellow at Hudson Institute and director at the Quantum Alliance Initiative, says the law wasn't passed to clear up complaints by internet users.
And I don't think anyone living in China is fooled for a minute that this is about protecting the data of users. Everybody understands that their personal data is completely available to the government and to the police and intelligence services in China.
The Personal Information Protection Law, or PIPL, was passed Friday. The law will take effect November 1st, and Chinese tech stocks continue to plummet. According to Carmen Lucero, a fellow at the Yale Law School Paul Tsai China Center, nothing in the text suggests limits on government surveillance. Herman says quite the opposite is the case. He says the regime is sending a message that ultimately Beijing is in control and that foreign investors can't influence Chinese companies. He thinks the real reason for the new law is to limit foreign companies' access to Chinese data.
Data that they collect and their companies collect from American users, like TikTok, they see that data as perfectly available and perfectly permitted for the government, the Chinese government, to use that data as part of its building a strategic picture about America, about our allies.
Experts say that it's also part of China's ambition to become a tech superpower.
So in the end, this is really another stage in a high-tech war between the U.S. and China.
He adds that this could just be the opening shot. He expects Beijing to extend its control over Chinese companies while becoming bolder in gathering data from other countries, especially now that the Chinese regime sees the U.S. sliding away from global commitments in the light of recent events in Afghanistan. Evelyn Lee, NTD News.